All right, students, welcome to day 3 of Unit 6. We have just completed the other day air masses, and now we are going to move forward with 2 days, our first day of weather fronts. And you probably may be familiar with weather fronts already a little bit, those lines with the shapes on them. We're going to set that up on page 5 of our notebooks. Again, don't forget we've got the Unit 6 vocab due in the near future, probably next Friday or this Friday, depending on what class you're on in my Canvas. And then again, Planet projects have already been posted. Please get started on those. Those are due March 1st. As for our Go Blue, our questions state, what are the 4 air mass categories? We finished off on the last video. What makes each unique? 2, why is it so difficult to predict weather? Why is weather oftentimes a challenging thing to make a prediction of? And 3, what type of air mass influences Florida? Go ahead and write those down on page 4. Pause the video as you see fit, because I will go a little fast on these YouTube videos, and continue when you are ready. Okay. For number 1, we have 4 types of air, as you remember from one of our video activities from the last lesson. We've got polar, which is air masses are cold near the poles. We've got tropical air masses, which are warm near the equator. Again, hence the word tropical, right? Warmer near the center, hotter near the top and bottom of the earth. And maritime, that means the air mass has moved over water, going to make weather a little more humid and moisture a little higher there. And then continental, meaning that the air mass is moving over land and that the air is very dry from that as a result. So different air masses are going to bring about different types of weather through those areas as they pass through. Number 2, weather is so difficult to predict because past a few days, because there's billions of particles being affected by many, many factors. These factors include the wind, they include the humidity, the sunlight, the Earth's rotation. So we call this the butterfly effect. So any small change in an air particle can cause drastic changes to its path and direction later on, making it very difficult to predict for its changes. And lastly, for number 3, the air mass of those categories that impacts Florida the most is maritime tropical. Why? Because Florida is close to the equator, making it tropical, and Florida is surrounded by water, making it maritime, right? That's why we get the warm and humid weather throughout most of the year. Okay, the table of contents is the same. If you haven't already, make sure you've got pages 4 and 5 for weather fronts, pages 4 and 5 through weather fronts. Okay, what I want you guys to do on page 4, we'll get to page 5 in a little bit. On page 4, I want you to write the question, what is a front? What is a front, right? Okay, and again, write this down on page 4, guys. We're going to copy this word for word. All right, again, title, we'll just say, what is a front? And then just so you guys know, a front is the space between 2 different air masses, okay? So where do we get the intense, where do we get the action-packed weather usually in the atmosphere? It's not when the center of the air masses are above us. It's when the edges of the different air masses are interacting, and that's what creates these rain, storms, et cetera, et cetera. So this is the area that separates the warm and cold air masses. Just so you guys understand, again, we're going to identify today the different types of fronts based on their shapes and colors, okay? So we're going to do that today on page 5. And again, just know that the shapes are where the front is moving, the direction in which the front is moving. Let's go ahead real quick with our video questions. What kind of weather forms from cold fronts? Write this on page 4 below what you just wrote. And then 2, what other fronts are mentioned in the video? Let's check it out. Again, I will have those links posted. But I will have the video muted because of, again, YouTube getting mad when I play other videos on my channel. So let's go ahead and check these out. So what kind of weather, again, copy those questions in yellow on page 4. Copy the questions in yellow on page 4. Oh, it's going to load. It's going to load, loading a different link. Let's see. Different browser maybe. Let's see, is it working? Oh, there it is. Again, hopefully avoiding any advertisements. Oh, the video's gone now. Let me try a different one. Give us a moment, guys. Give us a moment. And I think I'm just going to play, let's see. I think I had, was it that one? I'm trying to see which one I liked. I think it's this one. No, that's not it. Hold on 1 second, guys. Where's the video? I really like the video. I think it's this one. Yep. Okay, so we got blue spiky lines, red circle lines. What do these lines mean? I'm going to kind of sum up what he says in the video a little bit. Okay, and again, these fronts are when air masses, warm and cold air interact, right? So cold fronts are where cold air pushes out warm air. Okay, cold air pushes out warm air. And what's this going to do? It's usually going to bring about severe storms, like thunderstorms, things like that. Okay, so we get thunderstorms with that. Okay, that answers number one. And then our other fronts mentioned, guys, include warm fronts, where warm air pushes out cool air. Okay, that's the red line with the half circles on it. And that brings about like moderate rainfall. Then we've got a stationary front, which is where there's a tie. And you'll see the blue triangles and the red circles in that one. Okay. And then lastly, we have an occluded front where the cool air dominates the warm air. It just completely doesn't just push it out of the way, it overtakes it. Okay. And that's going to bring about, a stationary is going to bring about like long-term like rain that's like more, it just is going over a long period of time. So you might get some flooding. The occluded front's going to bring the, I think strong winds and a lot heavy rainfall, but not as severe as the cold front. So that's the ideas, right? So let's go back to our questions. Number one, what kind of weather fronts form cold fronts? It's going to be severe weather and heavy rainfall. Cold fronts bring about the worst types of weather. Okay. And what other fronts are mentioned? They include obviously warm fronts, stationary, occluded, and trough. Those are the four other fronts I'll need you to know for today. Four other fronts I'll need you to know for today. Okay, so again, these are all the fronts, but I'm only going to have you know the first five. Only know the blue triangles, red half circles, the three with the mixture of the red and the blue, 4 purple, and 5 is the brown hash mark. Okay, last thing I want you to write before we set up our page 5, okay, is going to be, what do we look for on a weather map? What are we going to look for outside when there's a weather front occurring? Go ahead and write this also on page 4. It's going to be changes in wind, temperature, pressure, moisture, and clouds. Again, make sure we write this down on page 5, guys. Changes in wind, temperature, pressure, moisture, and clouds. Okay. Last thing I'm going to do for today before we do a card question is I want you guys to go to page 5. Let me exit this share or end the share. Hold on. So you guys can see me see the full screen here. All right. So on page 5, I want you guys to go ahead and title it Weather Fronts. And we've got 5 categories that I just showed you. Again, make these on page 5. It could be on a notebook check in the future. Okay. Our first one is cold front. Okay. I need blue triangles for that one. Second one is warm front, red half circles. Fourth is stationary front, red and blue mixture. That's third, actually. Fourth, and we have 5 total categories. Again, make sure to take a picture within the video so you've got it down. Fourth is going to be the occluded front, like included, but instead with an O and a C. Okay, purple, it's the same shapes, but it's purple in the same direction. And then trough is just a brown hash mark line. Okay, those are the 5 categories of fronts I'll need you to write down and know for our next lesson, which is going to be weather fronts 2. And actually, just to save ourselves some time, again, pause the video, set it up, color it for page 5. Let's indeed actually go to those weather front notes. Okay. So do I have it here? Oh, no. Again, that's the vocab, guys. That's due. That's going to be due another time, right? Okay, so for cold front, what do I want you to know? I just want you to write what's in red. Last thing we're going to write for the day. Okay, and like we just said, guys, it's two air masses interacting where cold air replaces warm air. And then that just includes severe storms, heavy rainfall. So again, we're just going to write it right here. Just write it right there. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna conclude the lesson there. Let's go ahead and let me set up my question. Our last question of the day. All right, just get some practice in for things we've been reviewing, right? 1 second. And when the question is ready, I will pull it up on the screen here. Let me just actually go ahead and try right now. Okay, 1 second. See what question will be best for things we've gone over recently. I think this will be a good one. Okay. What is the correct direction in which pressure systems spin? The correct direction. Are high and low pressures both A, counterclockwise, B, both clockwise, C, clockwise with low counterclockwise? I might have done this in air masses 1, but again, my apologies if I repeat this question. Hopefully you remember it and know it this time. Or D, high counterclockwise, low clockwise. Pause the video, see what you think. Could be a quiz or test question. Answer is going to be letter C. Again, high pressure is clockwise, low pressure counterclockwise. Make sure you have your notes up to date. We're going to finish page 5 on the next lesson. Mr. Campbell, signing out.